Hey everyone, it's Dinah, and we are back at long last for Harley Quinn. We are back with Harley Quinn, this time on to episode number 8 of season 1. Last time we had the Queen of Fables being released. I think the Queen of Fables was released from the tax book, from the US tax code that she'd been trapped in for years, or however long it was. But then she was also on her way to, I think it was Arkham or Blackgate, she was on her way to prison afterwards in the actual, her original physical form, so that was the thing. So, but then Harley herself actually broke her out and recruited her into her new kind of band of merry villainous misfits and everything. So, yeah, the episode just kind of uncovered exactly exactly why the Queen of Fables was actually treated much more harshly in the first place, and not just for being a female villain, but for actually being genuinely unhinged and having no kind of rules or no lines that she wasn't willing to cross. So she just killed anyone and everyone who she kind of fancied killing, and anyone who got in her way and everything. So we saw in the form of her actually killing that entire kind of family picnic that kind of very kind of briefly kind of had witnessed Harley and the crew breaking in to do their thing. And yeah, I think it was the Praxius family, or the Praxius family, or the Praxis family. I think one of them did end up surviving. The man who actually kind of was on the barbecue at the time, he actually did end up surviving, and then got electric powers from being thrown into like a fence or something, and then he came back with a vengeance, and then Queen of Fables actually finished him off at the end. So that was the whole thing. But yeah, I think Harley kind of discovered that not every kind of villain is actually as kind of anti-heroic as she and her crew are. So some of them are actually genuinely evil and have no moral code and no moral compass or anything like that. So yeah, then I think she didn't kill her or anything, or even send her back to prison. She just kind of kicked her out and let her be on her way. So will we see her again? Will we not? Will we kind of see her kind of causing mayhem again for the group and getting in their way? I think it's probably like a likely chance. So we'll see what she's up to in the future. So that will be fun. And then we had some stuff with Ivy and Kite Man too. I think Ivy was kind of out of the team most of the episode, but then we still followed her kind of little date night thing, her very secret kind of date night thing that she had going on with Kite Man too. I think they actually went out to a restaurant, but then had to wait ages for like their reservation to pop up and everything. But then she was dressed head to toe in all sorts of regular people kind of clothes, like a scarf around her head and shades and like a big coat and everything, anything to conceal the fact that she's actually Poison Ivy out in public. Not only that, but then anything to conceal the fact that she's Poison Ivy out on a date with Kite Man. So yeah, they'd already hooked up. I think they'd already kind of had a relationship that Kite Man believed was actually was a legitimate public relationship, but then Ivy kind of treated like a bit more like a little thing on the side that she was kind of less kind of proud of actually bringing out into the light and everything. So yeah, so then it was in that moment that he actually kind of realised that, she actually isn't interested in actually kind of being known publicly to be with Kite Man. So yeah, but they had pretty a fairly active relationship and everything. They'd already sat together a number of times and everything. So by the end they clarified that, and then by the end she actually did clarify that she actually kind of was working on being okay with being seen with him, and working on actually kind of having this kind of be like an actual proper relationship for however long it lasted and everything. So Ivy and Kite Man, I think that's going to be like an interesting thing to explore, and I think I don't really kind of get the worst vibes from it so far, like however temporary it is, however kind of, you know, kind of short lasting it is. I don't really I don't get the worst vibes from it, but I think it's gonna be an interesting more or less to see exactly what Ivy takes away from this, and exactly how it treats her and how she treats it and how she treats Kite Man and everything, and how Kite Man treats her. So yeah, it'll be to see exactly how they execute this for however long or however short it lasts. So yeah, again, my heart is holding out hope for Harley Ivy to be a thing, and for that to kind of go forward, and for that to be kind of fleshed out, and for that to be discovered by both parties involved and everything. So yeah, I guess we'll see where things end up. So yeah. So yeah, I think they kind of did not manage to recruit Queen of Fables in successfully to their liking. So I think they've got the team, they've got the crew, they've got missions that go on and off and everything. So they need to build up their own kind of notoriety and their own kind of little kind of, you know, kind of infamousness kind of scale level factor thing within the city and within the kind of city's kind of criminal kind of culture and everything. So we will see how their adventures and their kind of affairs kind of continue to run in this series. So yeah, that is pretty much all I got from the last one. So on to episode number 8 of Harley Quinn. Let's go.
I'm just waiting for the museum to open. Just a normal shark doing normal shark things. Don't worry about me.
I mean, it wouldn't be the most unnatural thing for King Shark to be there, would it?
It is I, the Aquaman.
An English Aquaman.
Protector of the deep blue and all its inhabitants.
Or like an English American. Sounds kind of English, but I guess it's one of those English American ones. Oh no, that's Clayface, that's Clayface. I just reckon that's why he sounds like that. Aquaman would be American, that's why it sounds more English, yeah. It's Clayface.
It is I, Aquaman.
Oh, he sounds almost the same. He sounds as regal. Yeah, he sounds as regal as Clayface, yeah.
You're not my dad.
That is contrary to what she said.
Oh, show you the dolphin coming up.
I am going to need the Atlantean.
God, he really pulled a Yo Mama joke and had a dolphin high five him. God. What's she gonna summon? Poison Ivy! Oh, our girl Ivy. There she is. Ooh! Ivy in a bikini! Damn! What a blessing! What a gift! Oh, Ivy with the long wet hair too. God, that's a good look. They beat Aquaman. Is that not like the most humiliating thing to the Justice League?
Based on your recent evil
The
efforts,
Legion of
Legion of
Doom!
Doom invites you and your crew to our headquarters to discuss.
That's a hell of an invitation. Oh, to discuss further possibilities. Wow. So this crew that's as of yet unnamed.
I said that you could run a crew.
Yeah, but you're my friend. I mean, come on, it's like when your mom says you're the prettiest girl in school.
That's what my mom said. Shark genitalia is very hard to see. Until it isn't.
Aren't a lot of fishes like intersex or like sexually ambiguous or something?
A real diver!
What'd I tell you about this place? Did I fucking lie? I did not fucking lie! A Kryptonite-powered submarine that can turn into a car.
Kryptonite-powered?
Have 3 of them. I'm sure you know about Prospective Member Night, where every Legion member can nominate someone to join. Well,
Harley's been nominated?
guess who I nominated? You.
Nominated by
Come back
Lex
tonight to the
himself.
party. Meet everyone. See how you.
Legion of dildos.
That is the sex shop down the street with whom we're currently in a protracted legal battle. I'll see you guys tonight.
Damn right you
They're
are.
in a legal
Okay,
battle
join
with
me
a
if my
sex
boyfriend
shop.
validated.
We know
Jeez.
Valid.
I don't want to join your self-important sausage party.
Hey, we have a woman.
Good for you.
I'm blanking on her name right now, but she's lovely.
Great.
Oh gosh.
I don't want Harley. I want you.
So he's using Harley to get to
Why did the
Ivy.
Golden Globes nominate The Martian for Best Comedy? They wanted Matt Damon to show. In this metaphor, you're Matt Damon.
Yes, okay, I get it.
If you don't join, Harley doesn't get in either.
Harley really wants in.
Okay, they don't have Harley, but this is close enough.
Harvey Dent, Two-Face. Did she just steal that from Two-Face's desk or something?
Oh, that thing. Yes, it's just the pipes.
What kind of pipes you got? Tentacle pipes? A tentacle monster? Oh god. This is what happens when you disrespect women. You don't get invited to the Legion and you stay here to be beaten up by a tentacle monster.
There may be a giant tentacle monster in the basement.
In a giant tentacle monster in the basement. That is not something you thought would be useful to mention to her. Captain Cold, Reverse Flash. I saw Reverse Flash. Is that a Mazer?
Everything out of your pockets.
I feel like that's a Mazer. Or Metallo, maybe. I think either a Mazer or Metallo. Don't know if designs might be too different.
That's not a weapon.
Fine, but when I act someone you'll be blamed.
Hey, do you think Joker's gonna be here?
Oh,
You know what?
gosh.
I'm not so scared.
Is that
when
Killer
they can take
Frost?
off his machine
Tell me
gun.
that's Killer Frost. Tell me that's
Look at this
Caitlyn.
place.
Oh, I have not turned my back on the aquatic world. It turned its
Oh,
back
he's talking to the
me.
fish.
Oh, well,
He's
you
talking
can
to the
kindly
fish.
go fuck yourself.
Well,
Black Manta.
It's like a boys' club. It's like a goddamn
Oh
flag.
gosh. Whoa. Aquaman. Black Manta, come on. Here's your cue.
chase my sister. My sister.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Your sister.
I warn. Taste the salty brine of my sweet.
Oh, throw punch. Ooh, face plant kick. Ooh, oh no.
Superman. Krypton. And these people are not your
Krypton.
enemy.
Oh, he beheaded
Not my last
Superman.
review.
Oh, Killer Croc. Oh, oh, oh. Where is Manta? He's like his arch nemesis, isn't he? Oh, even Black Adam.
Did he just call you babe?
You know, maybe.
This is between me and them.
We haven't even seen. I'm seriously expecting Black Manta to jump in. Black Manta, come on! This is your cue. David. I can't remember what his name was in the movie, but sure.
It's not.
Oh, Richard.
Why don't you go back to the ocean?
Otherwise known as the world's toilet. Oh, so no ocean jokes. It seems like politically correct comedy.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh, no, fish are dying now. The fish are dying. Yeah. Oh, the fish are dying. Oh, Bane. Oh, Bane, you savage.
Just throw saltwater fish into a chlorinated pool. Water's water, I guess. Come on.
Oh, God. But yeah, I think that this is a pretty solid kind of, you know, vouch. Yeah, a very personal vouch. Her actually fighting for her place.
Mirielle. I asked Miri if she could make a hybrid for me. A half monkey, half octopus, or as it's commonly known, a monkey puss.
That's common, a monkey puss. So the body of a monkey, but with the arms and tentacle legs of an
But I
octopus?
just kept bugging.
Yeah, she wasn't meant to merge, or... Oh, another monkey merged her and the octopus. Ah.
Meet my sister.
So the head of Mirielle. Oh.
Saving the Legion of Doom
Well.
from a
Let her in. I mean, for God's sake, you let Bane in.
A lot of politics involved there. So, your final answers are no.
So he was a political allowance.
They don't want you, okay? They never wanted you. They were just using you to get to me.
And I'd like to welcome Harley Quinn.
Us?
Harley, you did it!
Congratulations, Harley.
Thanks for believing in me.
He screwed the middle finger on her.
I was just trying to protect you.
Lex played them both like fiddles.
Welcome.
There's got to be a catch to this, isn't there, right? There's got to be some kind of catch, but even besides from the whole Ivy thing.
They have a submarine that turns into a car that shoots missiles. The Legion's awesome.
Oh, this is getting heated.
What delicious drama.
Don't put your insecurities on me. You're trying to sabotage me instead of confronting the fact that without me, you don't have a single friend in this world.
I don't need this shit. Like I've always said, I'm not part of your crew, so...
Oh, great, go! Run away to your stupid plants!
You know they have names!
The plants have names. Is that from Frank? Oh, Psycho, what are you doing?
I can't even imagine what it must be like to go through life a giant, deformed thing.
You can't imagine it.
Talk to her. She may not speak English, but I bet she understands it.
Well, she must. She was human to begin with, right?
Miri,
You closed yourself off from me. I didn't just lose my brother that day. I lost my best friend. She kept hoping you would reach out, but you never did.
A lesson on both ends. She's gonna eat. Oh, I thought she was gonna eat him for a second.
you're free!
Is that the best idea? I guess, yeah. I think. That's kind of worried she'd probably end up, you know, destroying the city, or... Yeah, destroying the city. I knew it. I had a feeling. I kind of had a feeling, yeah. Ooh. Maybe releasing her straight away wasn't the answer. You know, maybe reacclimate her to society, all that kind of jazz. Psycho. Is he still banned for life? Oh, access granted.
Oh, Harley,
Huh.
Harley, whatever weird sex thing you had to do to get me back into the Legion of Doom, I thank you.
Yeah, that's not what happened.
Uh-huh. Wink, wink.
Oh, no, we're
Psycho,
related.
you
Can't
fucking
go on any
asshole.
deeper,
I
so the
hate
crew
you.
might interact with a female superhero.
Come on, Harley, settles.
Oh, and by the way, another member insisted on dropping
Joker. Joker. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Ugh. God, that son of a bitch is back. This is not gonna end well. This ain't gonna go well. So yeah, I mean, that opening was somewhat kind of casual-ish, you know, starting off with King Shark literally waiting on the steps to the Atlantis Museum of Art and everything. And honestly, I think King Shark, you know, being in the water, of course, you'd expect that. And also King Shark being in Atlantis, I mean, again, I think in that context, the only thing that's kind of, you know, surprising would be King Shark, you know, being in the water. Because I mean, King Shark, I think The Flash is the only iteration of that character that I've ever seen where the character is actually seen and portrayed as a villain. Like, I think in that one, only in that one is he really kind of, like, to me, portrayed as an antagonist or as a villain or anything like that. And I think in that one he is also written to be very kind of explicitly kind of evil against the Flash and everything. So there's that. And then in the Suicide Squad, again, that is like a team made up of villains, but then it's also anti-heroes and stuff, I think. I think at this point, I think it's safe to say that, like, those guys are pretty much kind of anti-heroes. I think none of them kind of seem to have explicitly kind of villainous tendencies or anything like that. You know, I think especially in the newest version too, all the surviving characters I think can definitely kind of be counted as like anti-heroes or as, you know, people. But even then, it's like that one is just criminals in general. It's literally just criminals too. So, you know, I think Harley is the only one there with any actual long kind of lasting history with that kind of team and with that kind of formula too. So, you know, like, we hadn't really kind of seen any of the explicitly kind of villainous or kind of world-threatening kind of activities that the other characters had really kind of gotten up to or anything. So King Shark, I think he was definitely like a new one. Even in that one, he just kind of seemed to, like, in that one he was portrayed as someone who kind of, you know, like, he was a bit of like a bit of a dummy, I guess, a bit of a dummy for lack of a better term. But then he was also kind of like he was kind of harmless, but then also very, very lethal in his actions too. Like, he literally kind of gobbled a guy up and was able to tear flesh off your bones and shit and stuff. And he was, you know, kind of starting to munch down on Starro before he got taken off too. So he is very lethal in his actions, but then he's also like a bit of like a harmless kind of dummy and everything. So, and he befriended the he befriended the squad kind of quickly enough. So I think in that one he's not explicitly kind of evil or anything. Just doesn't really kind of, I think, either does and doesn't know the full extent of the actual damage of his actions either. So yeah, but here he's very this being the parody and satire that it is, he's intelligent and intellectual, but then he's also King Shark. He's also like, he's got his own hobbies, he's got his own interests. He's actually surprisingly more positive and bubbly and everything. So yeah, so I think the fact that he's King Shark would be the only thing that would actually going to be, you know, worrying about it. If it was like another regular shark that decided to swim by Atlantis or sort of swim by the museum, nothing would have happened. So yeah, King Shark on the steps of the Atlantis Museum of Art was quite excited to behold, and then of course he was kind of keeping lookout while Harley stole the kind of family jewels from the museum too. I think from the get go, I was kind of half expecting someone to be like, oh, so Aquaman's balls, the family jewels, or something, and so it didn't really happen until, like, you know, like 15-20 minutes in to the final kind of battle at the Legion of Doom headquarters. I think from that point on, I was expecting someone to make that kind of a joke, but it took a while, but we got there. So they even foiled him twice. I think the first time it was Ivy. I think she actually wrapped him up in the kelp and stuff and everything. I think Aquaman's apparently besties with the dolphin in this too. He actually, I think Jupe, was it? I think, was it Jupe or Juper or something? I think it's something with a J. That's his bestie, a dolphin, so that's pretty cool. And then yeah, they fought him. He decided to pop by the Legion of Doom at the nomination party and everything. They fought him again. I think I guess it kind of seems like they were saving the most obvious and probably the best one for last, because then again with Black Manta, I think having seen Black Manta there already, then as soon as Aquaman popped in, I was like, oh wait, Black Manta's there, so, you know, hero versus kind of arch nemesis and everything, they can fight, and it'll probably be like a great big glorious battle to whatever. But no, then he actually did kind of like successfully fight off other ones. He fought off like Scarecrow and Bane and like you know, KG Beast and everything, and stuff that he fought for almost every other villain that actually kind of came his way. And then like the entire time I was waiting, like, okay, so, you know, it makes sense that, you know, Black Manta's there, so, you know, actually you kind of throw him in there, then, you know, he'd be the most fitting person for Aquaman to fight and everything, so it didn't happen until the end. And then even when it did, I think he still ended up actually kind of going out and everything. I think he ended up being blasted back and then knocking out Ivy along with him. So yeah, that didn't last long. So yeah, but then of course the final antidote being Harley releasing all the fish out onto the sea. So I thought that there might be enough water in that tank to actually kind of flood him out the window or something, or to flood him back and maybe cause a bit of commotion. But no, then of course appealing to one of his actual greater weaknesses, which is actually endangering the fish, which was honestly like an ingenious move. I think can't remember. I mean, I'm not sure. Like I think he's admittedly not like a character we've seen too much of in movies. I think it's just only I feel like it's only really recently that we've got him in movies with Jason Momoa and the Justice League and everything. And I think he was in Smallville. I think he was in Smallville, and I'm pretty sure he was also played by Alan Ritchson, who played Hawk on Titans. I think he was on that, so he was actually a member of the Justice League on that. He was actually Aquaman there. I think he's been in like his own kind of animated kind of forms too. So he's been here and there, but then I feel like and I think maybe like from my viewing experience, I haven't really kind of seen him enough to actually kind of like to fully dictate exactly what his power base is, what his weakness is. But then in this one, then don't even know how serious this weakness might be. But then because then I think not having seen too many of his stories in comic form or even in audiovisual form, I think it's kind of harder to differentiate what's actually real and what they're poking fun at or what they're kind of exaggerating for comedic effect. So for his character, it would make sense for him to actually feel some amount of pain for the fish and everything too. Kind of like the Deep, in the boys, like how he actually can hear the screams of the fish and how he actually does feel their pain and how he does connect to them and everything. So somewhat similar to that. But then with this one, this feels like if the boys was actually making fun of the Deep, but then put it into like the actual DC format and everything. So yeah, but then no, as soon as the fish started dying and choking out, I think he immediately went into kind of hero mode and then actually into rescue mode and then actually started picking up the fish and carrying the octopus on his head and everything. So then the battle was called off and he had to go save the fishes and put them back into the water and everything, into appropriate water as well, So yeah, that is one way to defeat Aquaman, just kind of dangle loads of helpless little fish in front of him on the ground with no nearby water supply. So that is ingenious and hilarious. So props to Harley for discovering that. So yeah. Don't know if you're really meant to look at it too deeply. I mean, you're probably obviously not, but then it's still, if you think about it, it actually is like an actual classic villain versus hero move. Like, oh, save your kind or defeat the villain. You can either save the victims of the villain's actions, or you can actually go after the villain and stop them permanently. But in this one, the villains aren't really kind of going anywhere. It's actually just kind of forcing the hero into that kind of position where they have to save their own kind and everything. So with this one, it's actually forcing Aquaman to save the fish. But then, in almost any other kind of iteration, any other kind of hero versus villain kind of battle would be like, oh, save the victims and be the hero, or stop me and put an end to all the stuff permanently and everything. So I don't know, it just kind of clicked in my head that's kind of how it would translate in like a more kind of sincere sense. So yeah, Harley's kind of actions in defeating Aquaman the first time, Ivy's kind of. I think it actually would make more sense. It was actually Ivy's actions, because then Ivy was the one shouted out on TV too. I think the actual news report did say that one particular member made like a particular kind of standout just like a participation in the whole thing and everything, and then they actively kind of shouted out Poison Ivy too, but which then kind of annoyed Ivy even more, because then she wasn't officially, and she also wasn't really willingly part of the team. So the media was actually kind of glorifying her as part of the crew, but then she wasn't. So then it would then make sense that the Ivy also being the one very specifically shouted out would actually be what would draw out the Legion's attention, and then maybe remind Lex to send out another invitation. But now this time, knowing that she's then kind of somewhat sort of not really kind of part of another crew that's led by Harley, he knows that the way to get to Ivy now would be to send an invitation to Harley instead. So yeah, we had Scarecrow giving them the kind of of Legion kind of tour and everything, the Legion of Doom kind of headquarters tour and everything. I think him being a tour guide is honestly one of the best things I've seen. Just like the Legion having a tour guide and Scarecrow being the tour guide just is amazing on all fronts. So that was cool. Just him kind of giving them a tour, like him showing them I think the kind of the vending machine with the kombucha, the kind of the two, what was it, what was it? I think the two Kryptonite powered submarines as well. I think so they're actively then powered by Kryptonite. I thought maybe they'd be kind of like lined with Kryptonite or shielded with Kryptonite so that then Superman couldn't go near them. But no, they're actively powered by Kryptonite. So that way Superman can't interact with them in any way. He can't follow them. He can't attack them. He can't he could probably try and track them from afar, but then he can't really kind of go near them without actually making himself actually completely vulnerable. So then something actively powered by Kryptonite would actually have a much more lasting and longer effect on them. So that is a really great design. So yeah, so something powered by Kryptonite. But again, you're not meant to think too into it, but then this is my mind. It starts thinking, even when it's not supposed to think too deeply into this stuff that's satire and whatever, it starts thinking. So then I never really kind of considered or thought that like Kryptonite would actually have kind of like powering capabilities, that they would actually have like any kind of energy kind of output or energy kind of emission or anything. So them not only having that, but then them using that thing. Unarguably, Lex would be the first one to kind of to study Kryptonite in all of its capabilities, besides from making Superman and other Kryptonians like Supergirl as well vulnerable and everything. So he would be the first one to actually study it and see how else it could work. So then if he finds out he can power stuff, then of course he's going to build kind of vehicles and aircraft and submersibles and everything, and power it using Kryptonite. So obviously Lex was doing, so that was cool. And then I think the fish tank that he showed to King Shark too, so King Shark actually being able to interact with the other fishes, and didn't really kind of go on later on, as we saw, like he insisted that he actually turned the Aqua Kingdom kind of behind, and they turned their back on him too. So so that was interesting. So yeah, a tour of the Legion of Doom, which was really fun to see. So yeah, Lex actually using Harley to get to Ivy, because then Ivy is the one that he's actually sent, like I think he said like 100 or 240 kind of different kind of invitations to, and she's buffed out all of them and everything. So yeah, so I figured from the get-go that using Harley to get to Ivy would probably not end very well too, and I think knowing Lex too, he would toy with both of them in order to get what he wants. Like he wants Ivy, he wants her because he sees her as the big guns, as the real deal, as the one capable of doing things and everything. So especially her being the one probably with superpowers too, and stuff. I think part of me does wonder if in this version, like in this context, maybe if he actually does kind of see it as like, she doesn't explicitly see herself as a villain, but then neither does Harley either. So then if there's any kind of actual personality motivation behind it, like maybe she sees it as like personality wise, Ivy is the one to join, because then she doesn't explicitly kind of like actually see her actions as particularly villainous or lethal, or apart from against the right people. So then maybe that kind of motive kind of is good for the Legion's image. Like maybe if they need someone to make them look good, whereas with Harley, she's kind of like so far she's kind of mostly kind of like on her kind of anti-hero kind of mission out of spite. Like she wants to prove the Joker wrong, she wants to prove society wrong, and she even initially wanted to join to prove the Legion wrong too, that she could do it, that she could build a great team and lead them to villainous victory and everything. But then Ivy kind of already has experience kind of having to put up with being painted as the wrong thing for years on end and doing all this stuff. So maybe kind of maybe Lex is interested more in that than Harley kind of going kind of like higher and further and faster and everything. So I don't know, it just seemed kind of curious kind of to know exactly what his attraction to her was that Harley didn't have. So yeah, but again, either way, I think it definitely felt like Lex would end up toying with both of them, which he did. So that happened. But then not only that, but then of course like Ivy also then pretty much kind of having a feeling from the start that like Lex was only actually using Harley to get to her, which Lex then confirmed, kind of showed that then. But then the catch being that if Ivy doesn't join, then Harley doesn't get in either. So then Ivy's kind of stuck between giving her best friend like dream that she's actually fighting so hard to achieve, but then also kind of then doing it knowing that like the Legion's kind of perspective and the Legion's kind of treatment towards Harley is also kind of pseudo and faux, and it's only ever really kind of like out of respect for Ivy and what Lex especially kind of really wants in her and everything. So you know, I think it's especially her kind of knowing that like she doesn't want to join the Legion, but then I think deep down she also knows that like the Legion isn't really something that she thinks Harley should be joining either. But then she's already kind of expressed those kind of those thoughts and those wishes to her kind of you know ad nauseum and stuff. So yeah, I think it's like a really kind of mixed bag of emotions that Lex, being the master manipulator that he is, can easily kind of toy with, kind of in kind of silence, and watch as they as Ivy kind of hopelessly accepts, and then Harley gets taken in, and then even at the last minute actually kind of making it seem like he's actually not going to pick her, but then still actually kind of going with her and everything, but only after kind of, you know, maybe even knowing or not knowing that Ivy kind of admitted to out loud that the Legion doesn't want her, and they're just using her and everything. So I don't know, just Lex is just kind of playing them both like fiddles, and he's playing everyone like fiddles. And then of course now we have some newfound kind of tension between Harley and Ivy, based on their involvement with the Legion and everything. So it doesn't look like it's actually gonna kind of go too easy on them for the next episode or two. So. And yeah, the ending kind of showed us that Joker decided to make like a last minute return to the Legion of Doom as well. So now Harley's gonna have to deal with being on the same team as him. But I think then that might be the proving point. Then that might be the proving point of like, you know, like Joker being unarguably probably like the more kind of respected and more kind of kind of versed and more kind of admired kind of member of the team. He's easily going to be seen as above Harley, and then he's still going to be giving her orders and telling her what to do, and just kind of actually kind of forcing her back into the position of being under him as she used to be and everything. And then kind of that's going to be the kind of unseen catch for Harley, like you know, like for she can be a part of the Legion, and she can even bring her crew on board. But then now, surprise, Joker's back, the ex-boyfriend you very kind of publicly broke up with and vowed to be better than in every way. He's back, and now you have to work. Now you either have to work 10 times harder to actually kind of prove yourself to be his equal, or even better than him within the Legion, which would be nearly impossible to do. Or you can leave and turn your back on the Legion, and then that will probably be like an even bigger public display and everything. So yeah, and apparently the Legion of Doom is in a legal battle with the Legion of Dildos. I think first of all, the Legion of Dildos is a thing. There's a sex shop called the Legion of Dildos. Apparently they have like an actual kind of like a number of dildos in Legion with each other, and presumably other kind of sex toys available too. And then there's the Legion of Doom. So they're both in a legal battle to claim ownership of the actual abbreviation LOD. So yeah, because I mean, if you say it like that, then it sounds kind of. I think if you actually try and say it as like an actual word, which kind of, you know, most people probably might try and do, like Lord, then that just kind of sounds silly. So yeah, I don't know, but that's unarguably one of the most kind of like parodical kind of like things in this, because again I think, you know, like Lex being Lex, he could easily kind of sort it out with the snapper's fingers through bribery or death threats, or and like just like an easily won kind of court case or something. But then for the sake of comedy, they got to actually paint it as like an actual ongoing thing that they seemingly can't win, or are struggling to win, or choose not to win or something. So yeah, but I think the mere kind of mention of that in itself is pretty much like an actual focal point of comedy. So them being in a legal battle with the sex shop is, you know, it's something to think about. I think for me at least, it's definitely not for too long, but it's definitely something to kind of think about. To think that like along with the Justice League, I think one of the other kind of like age-old enemies might literally be like an actual legitimate kind of sex toy shop, or something literally down the street and stuff. So yeah, just wow. So legal battle with that's yeah. Psycho spending most of the episode kind of in the like back at their home base and everything because of his kind of ongoing kind of lifetime ban from from the Legion, and everything resulted in him kind of being attacked by Cyborg Man's sister, Mirielle, who was a tentacle human hybrid monster thing after an experiment, after a cross kind of genetics experiment thing gone wrong. I think she was meant to cross the genetics between a monkey and an octopus, but then she went inside to check something, and then the monkey got out and closed on both of them, and then it ended up being her and the octopus. So then she's then been trapped underneath the in the basement underneath the actual abandoned mall ever since. I think Sai knew about it, but then he just kept her there because then he didn't really know what to do. And then of course, like the experiment was actually kind of his idea to begin with anyway, because then loads of other scientists were actually kind of doing it as part of some kind of government thing. So then so then he then encouraged her to pursue it and see what kind of results it would yield and everything, and then that's where it ended up. So then ever since then, I think he's kind of felt guilty and shameful of his actions and of him being the reason that happened. So then also knowing that like he can never kind of properly or kind of quickly kind of actually let her back out into public after this has actually gone down. So today was the day that she finally made her presence known and everything. So and then of course Psycho had to actually kind of go down and actually find out what's happening, and then him and Cyborg Man actually kind of went in and actually found her cellar, and then opened the door and actually kind of talked to her and everything. So then he uses his kind of mind kind of beam to allow communication between her and Cyborg Man and stuff, and then there was even drama on that end too. And then Mirielle actually kind of gave Cyborg Man a speech that really resonated well with Harley too, about friendship and trusting each other, and actually kind of forgiving and moving on from their past and everything. So that was really sweet. And then of course they embrace. I literally thought she might eat him. When she grabbed him, I thought she might even accidentally eat him, maybe because then she hasn't really interacted with anyone for years and stuff. So then she's probably not used her own strength or her own impulses. So then I thought she might end up eating him, but no. Then he let her go after seeing how positive and happy she was at the idea of freedom. But then of course that came with her still not actually kind of being acclimated yet to this new society, and immediately deciding to pull helicopters out of the sky and eat people and spit out their body parts and everything. So again, best idea probably kind of to actually kind of ease her back into society and actually kind of try and find some place where it's actually going to be safe and everything. But no, again, for the sake of comedy, we gotta go gory and chaotic and everything for the ending. So that was a beautiful story with Mirielle, the tentacle kind of monster that Cyborg Man had hidden under. Started off with the tentacle monster that Cyborg Man had hidden in the basement, but then it turned out to be his very dear and very loving kind of sister, who was the result of an experiment gone wrong at Cyborg Man's request and everything. So, but it'll be kind of fun to see, interesting to see how Harley deals with the Legion of Doom now that Joker is back in her life too. So I think it'll be interesting to see her kind of discover exactly what's more important to her, actually being Legion, or actually kind of getting away from Joker once and for all, and actually kind of still sticking with her original plan of actually kind of leading her own crew and everything. So being interesting to see exactly where that leads her, and how her and Ivy eventually reconcile too, seeing if they actually kind of do get back together, and seeing how they kind of move forward with each other, and maybe like at some point seeing what it is that I feel like, again, I think because even in the beginning she said that like she wasn't like officially a part of the team, but then Harley needed a favor, so then she provided said favor and everything. So it'd be kind of interesting to see if she ever actually does become like an actual legit part of the team, or if she just kind of continues to be like an actual kind of favor granting kind of private contractor or something. So it'll be interesting. But then I think first and foremost, her and Harley are besties, and potentially more later on down the line. So that will be the journey to watch and everything, and then seeing her kind of just being with the team and being around the team, and actually occasionally working with the team when they need her, is what's going to be the dynamic to see. So that kind of seeing that kind of friendship and seeing that kind of dynamic kind of reignited and everything will be cool. And seeing exactly how Harley kind of continues to forge and explore her kind of path of villainy and anti-heroism will be interesting to see, especially now with the addition of the Legion of Doom and of course Joker's return and stuff. So should be a fun time. So yeah, that is pretty much for now all I've got from this episode, and stuff seemed kind of simple enough and everything, even with like a potentially kind of long review. So yeah, that is pretty much all I got from this one. So that was Harley Quinn season 1 episode number 8. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like and comment what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming next time on Harley Quinn. Full-length reaction for those interested is available over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So until the next time, bye bye for now.